Good morning. Today we will discuss on the topic of antiemetics. So I will share the slide. So to start with, let's recap the nausea pathway. See the vomiting center, it actually lies in the medulla and it gets signal from the higher cortical centers also, from CTZ center which lies at the area proxima, fourth ventricle, and also from the labyrinths in the ear. Hmm. So this is a complex mechanism and it has many neuronal pathways and factors also which can cause nausea and vomiting. For example, higher cortical centers, they receive signal from sensory inputs like pain, smell, sight, then memory, fear, anticipation. It also affects the higher cortical centers. For example, if we had a bad experience with some food in the past and we had a vomiting after eating that food, so if we are again given the same food, we are reminded of that experience of the vomiting in the past after that food, and we tend to get nauseous. Secondly, chemoreceptor trigger zone at the fourth ventricle, it receives signals from the chemotherapy. Chemotherapy and radiotherapy also send signals through stomach and small intestine, which in turn send signals to the CTZ and the vomiting center. Also, imbalances in the labyrinths. This can also cause vomiting. The receptors involved in this vomiting reflex, there are many centers, okay, that can induce the vomiting. For example, H1 receptors on which histamine acts, D2 receptors on which dopamine acts, 5-HT3 receptor on which serotonin acts, M receptor cholinergic, NK1 neurokinin receptor, CKB1, CB1 cannabinoid receptor, mu opioid receptor. Okay. So there are two main emetics that are available as medicines that can be used in some conditions. One is apomorphine, which is a dopaminergic or agonist on CTZ. Intramuscularly or intravenously, it can be given in the dose of 6 milligram. But it should not be used if respiration is depressed. Then second medicine is ipecacuanha, also called a syrup ipecac. It acts reflexly by irritating gastric mucosa and on CTZ. It is a common household remedy. Okay, so these are used to induce vomiting, especially when someone has ingested a poison or a medicine that he did not intend to use. Okay, so the doctor, he can try the emetics on these patients to vomit out that poison. So it should basically be used within a few hours of the ingestion of the poison, basically within 6 hours, after which the poison will pass down the stomach into the intestines. Now these emetics, they are contraindicated in many conditions. For example, if the patient has ingested acid or alkali, then if we induce the vomiting with the emetics, it can cause injury to the mucosa. Second contraindication is CNS stimulant drug poisoning, which the CNS stimulants can induce convulsions. And in that case, inducing vomiting can have a serious hazard. Kerosene poisoning can cause aspiration. If we give emetics, then aspiration, that can lead to aspiration pneumonia in the lungs. Unconscious poisoning, if the patient is unconscious and if we try to induce the vomiting, again, risk of aspiration pneumonia is there. Morphine or phenothiazine poisoning, in these cases, the emetics will fail to act. Now coming to antiemetics. Antiemetics are very useful medicines, for example, in gastrointestinal infections or in chemotherapy-induced vomiting or to control the vomiting during surgeries. So these are the drugs that are used to prevent or suppress the vomiting. These are the basic groups of antiemetics available, namely anticholinergics, in which the drugs are hyoscine and dicyclomine. H1 antihistamines, in which the drugs available are promethazine, diphenhydramine, dimenhydrinate, doxylamine, maclozine, cinnarizine. Neuroleptics, in which the drugs available are chlorpromazine, triflupromazine, prochlorperazine, haloperidol. Prokinetic drugs like metoclopramide, domperidone, cisapride, mosapride, etopride. Then 5-HT3 antagonists. These are very effective antiemetics, namely ondansetron, granisetron, palonosetron, ramosetron. NK1 receptor antagonists like aprepitant, fosaprepitant. Adjuvant antiemetics like dexamethasone, benzodiazepines, dronabinol, and nabilone. So these are all the antiemetics that can be used for this purpose. So this is again the same reflex pathway in which we are depicting the site of action of these medicines. For example, when the vomiting is being induced from the higher cortical centers, in those cases, benzodiazepines will be effective in controlling the vomiting. If CTZ is being triggered, then these are the medicines that will be effective: histamine antagonists, muscarinic antagonists, dopamine antagonists, and cannabinoids. If the vomiting is being triggered from stomach and small intestine, for example, if the patient has taken some strong medicine like chemotherapy, in those cases, the medicines that will be effective are gastroprokinetic agents, sphincter modulators, 5-HT3 antagonists. If the vomiting is being induced from the labyrinths, from the ears, for example, after surgery, then also in vertigo cases, they can get vomiting. In Meniere's disease, they can get vomiting. Okay. So in these cases, histamine antagonists and muscarinic antagonists, they will be useful. So let's discuss this in detail. Coming to the first group of medicine, anticholinergics, in which the medicines are hyoscine and dicyclomine. Coming to hyoscine, it is used in cases of motion sickness. It has a brief duration of action. Therefore, transdermal patch is used. The side effects that it can produce are sedation, dry mouth, and other anticholinergic effects. Mechanism is by blocking conduction of nerve impulses to vestibular apparatus, vomiting center. Okay. Second medicine is dicyclomine. It is also used for motion sickness and also for morning sickness in case of pregnancy. Coming to the second group of drugs, H1 antihistamines. The drugs in this class are promethazine, diphenhydramine, dimenhydrinate, doxylamine, maclozine, and cinnarizine. Mechanism, anticholinergic. Main mechanism is anticholinergic. Also, doxylamine is antihistaminic, or some antidopaminergic or weak sedative action may be seen. So coming to promethazine, diphenhydramine, dimenhydrinate, these are antihistamines, and these are used in motion sickness. The relief from motion sickness stays for 4 to 6 hours, but it can produce side effects of sedation and dryness of mouth. If it is given with metoclopramide, it supplements antiemetic action and it blocks extrapyramidal side effects. Therefore, it is used in chemotherapy-induced nausea and vomiting. So CINV. CINV means chemotherapy-induced nausea and vomiting. Doxylamine, it should be given with pyridoxine for better effect. And it is mainly used in morning sickness. Its half-life is 10 hours. Therefore, it is given after dinner. It means the woman, pregnant woman, she takes it after dinner, and its effect lasts through the night and in the morning also. So when the woman wakes up in the morning, she will not get the morning sickness. But it can produce side effects of drowsiness, dry mouth, vertigo, and abdominal upset. Maclozine or maclizine, it is less sedative and longer acting. It has action against seasickness for 24 hours. Cinnarizine, it is anti-vertigo drug. It is useful for motion sickness. Mechanism of action, it inhibits influx of calcium from endolymph into vestibular sensory cells, which mediates labyrinthine reflexes. Now, third class is neuroleptics, which contains the drugs chlorpromazine, triflupromazine, prochlorperazine, and haloperidol. So haloperidol and phenothiazine, they are the older neuroleptics, and the mechanism here is blocking of D2 receptors in the CTZ. They also antagonize apomorphine-induced vomiting. They also have antimuscarinic and H1 antihistaminic property. They are used in drug-induced and post-operative nausea and vomiting, disease-induced vomiting, gastroenteritis, uremia, liver disease, migraine. They are also used in malignancy and chemotherapy-induced vomiting, and also in radiation sickness vomiting. Prochlorperazine, it is given by injection in vertigo-associated vomiting. Side effects include muscle dystonia, extrapyramidal side effects. Coming to prokinetic drugs. Prokinetic drugs are metoclopramide, domperidone, cisapride, mosapride, and etopride. Now, if we this term, we see the term prokinetic. Prokinetic means it increases the peristalsis of the GIT. Okay, so these are very important class of drugs. Let's see this further. They promote GI transit. So in GIT, their action is to increase gastric peristalsis, relax the pylorus and first part of the duodenum, and speed gastric emptying. That increase the tone of lower esophageal sphincter. So gastroesophageal reflux, it is opposed. So that is one of its uses also. In CNS, they act on CTZ and block apomorphine-induced vomiting. So mechanism is dopaminergic antagonism, serotonergic agonism. So when it antagonizes D2 in CTZ and stomach, so dopamine, it causes inhibition in the GIT, which can cause delay in gastric emptying and gastric dilatation and LES, lower esophageal sphincter relaxation. Other manifestations of D2 antagonism are antagonism of apomorphine-induced vomiting, CPZ-like extrapyramidal effects, and hyperprolactinemia. By its action on 5-HT4 agonism, now 5-HT4 activation of primary afferent neurons of enteric nervous system, they enhance acetylcholine release from the maventric plexus, gastric herring, and LES tonic effects, synergized by bethanechol and attenuated by atropine. 5-HT3 receptor antagonism, it is present on inhibitory maventric interneurons and in NTS-CTZ. It is blocked, this receptor is blocked at high concentration. So these are its effects. Metoclopramide, it is rapidly absorbed orally. It enters brain crosses placenta, and it is also secreted in milk. It is partly conjugated in liver and excreted in urine within 24 hours. Half-life is 1 hour orally, 1 minute intramuscular, and 2 minutes intravenous. Action lasts for 4 to 6 hours. In drug interactions, it hastens the absorption of drugs like aspirin and diltiazem by facilitating gastric emptying. It also reduces absorption of digoxin and cimetidine. It blocks dopamine receptors, therefore abolishes the therapeutic effect of levodopa. Metoclopramide, it is well tolerated. Main side effects include sedation, dizziness, loose stools, muscle dystonias. Long-term use, on long-term use, it can cause Parkinsonism, galactorrhea, and gynecomastia. However, it is safe during pregnancy, but suckling infant may develop loose motions, dystonia, and myoclonus. Its dose is 10 milligram 3 times a day, oral or intramuscular. In children, its dose is 0.3 to 2 milligram per kg. So it is widely used under the brand names Perinom, Maxeron, Raglan, Sigmet. Okay, so its uses are many. As an antiemetic, it is used for post-operative, drug-induced, disease-associated, radiation sickness, and other various types of vomiting. Higher dose needed for emetogenic anti-cancer drugs. When it is combined with promethazine, diphenhydramine, diazepam, lorazepam, or dexamethasone, they can be combined with it and they supplement its action. As a prokinetic drug or gastrokinetic drug, it accelerates the gastric emptying. For example, if we need to give general anesthesia in an emergency and patient, we don't know about when the patient took his last meals, so we need to empty the stomach, and this is one way to empty it rapidly. It can also be used to relieve post-vagotomy or diabetic gastroparesis associated gastric stasis and to facilitate duodenal intubation. Its other uses in dyspepsia and other functional GI disorders like hiccups. Also, it can be used in gastroesophageal reflux disease, in which it may benefit mild cases. Used as adjuvant to acid suppressive therapy. Now coming to domperidone. Domperidone is D2 receptor antagonist on CTZ. It crosses blood-brain barrier poorly. It is absorbed orally. Bioavailability is around 15% due to first-pass metabolism. It is completely biotransformed and metabolites are excreted in urine. Its half-life is 7.5 hours. Its side effects are much less than metoclopramide, and its side effects include dry mouth, loose stools, headache, rashes, and galactorrhea. Cardiac arrhythmia can happen on rapid IV injection. Its uses are similar to metoclopramide. It is a less efficacious gastrokinetic, and it is not useful in emetogenic chemotherapy. Dose is 10 to 40 milligram 3 times a day. The other prokinetic drugs like cisapride. Cisapride, it came into market, but later it was found to cause serious ventricular arrhythmias and death also, so it was banned. Mosapride is its sister drug. It is also known to cause QT prolongation, arrhythmias, Torsades T points, but till now it has not been banned, but there is a warning issued with it. Indications of mosapride include non-ulcer dyspepsia, diabetic gastroparesis, GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, and chronic constipation, in which it is used as a prokinetic. Etopride, it has been marketed in Japan and few other countries, but it has not been marketed in USA or UK. It is a prokinetic drug. It has anti-dopaminergic and anticholinergic activity. Low affinity for 5-HT4 cardiac receptors, thus devoid of cardiac side effects. It is metabolized by flavin monooxygenases. Its side effects include diarrhea, abdominal pain, headache, galactorrhea, and gynecomastia. Now coming to the fifth class of drugs, 5-HT3 antagonists, ondansetron, granisetron, palonosetron, ramosetron. Okay, these are very strong antiemetics and their uses include vomiting, which is severe vomiting. For example, in cancer chemotherapy, radiotherapy induced vomiting, post-operative nausea vomiting, disease or drug associated vomiting. Its its mechanism of action includes depolarization, blocking of the depolarization after 5-HT3 receptor activation on vagal efferents in GIT, NTS, and CTZ. Its duration of action is 8 to 12 hours. Now, it is not only used in severe vomiting, but because of its lesser side effect profile, it has also been used in children and it has been used in pregnancy also when other options are not available. However, it is considered safe in pregnancy also. Its side effects can include headache, dizziness, mild constipation, abdominal discomfort. If it is given IV, for example, usually in when we are giving cancer chemotherapy, we give this medicine IV only. In those cases, it can cause hypotension, bradycardia, chest pain, allergic reactions. Okay, now granisetron, it is 10 times more potent than ondansetron. It is more effective during the repeat cycles of the chemotherapy. Its half-life is 8 to 12 hours and side effects are similar to ondansetron. Palonosetron, only drug approved for delayed CINV on second to fifth day. It is more effective. Efficacy in acute phase CINV and repeat cycles. Long duration of action, around 40 hours. It is metabolized in liver and kidney. Side effects include headache, fatigue, dizziness, abdominal pain. QT prolongation can happen with antibiotics like moxifloxacin, erythromycin, also with antipsychotics, antidepressants. Rapid IV injection can cause blurring of vision. Ramosetron, it has been developed in Japan and marketed only in South Asian countries. Its properties are similar to ondansetron. Its uses are CINV and PONV in dose of 0.3 milligram IV once a day. It is also indicated in irritable bowel syndrome. Now, NK1 receptor antagonists like aprepitant and fosaprepitant, they act by activation of neurokinin receptor in CTZ, NTS by substance P released due to hematogenic chemotherapy. Selective high affinity antagonist, GI motility is not affected. Oral dose of 125 plus 80 plus 80 over 3 days significantly enhanced efficacy of ondansetron plus dexamethasone in CINV. Single oral dose of 40 milligram is effective in PONV. Side effects, usually it is well tolerated and the side effects include weakness, fatigue, flatulence. Sometimes it can cause increase in liver enzymes. Fosaprepitant is a parenterally administered prodrug of aprepitant. Now coming to the last class, adjuvant antiemetics, which contains drugs like dexamethasone, benzodiazepines, dronabinol, and nabilone. Okay, corticosteroids, they partially alleviate emesis in CINV. Benzodiazepines, antiemetic property based on sedative action. They can also suppress dystonic side effects of metoclopramide. Cannabinoids, like delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol. It is used in cancer-induced nausea, vomiting. Dronabinol and Nabilone are the two cannabinoids available. Dronabinol, it is used in the dose of 5 to 10 milligram per meter square. It is used when other antiemetics are not tolerated. It is addictive and it can cause hallucinations, disorientation, and other sympathomimetic effects. Thank you.